Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Chaile Time. Toby, hello and welcome.
Good morning, Chepo.
How are you?
Chepo, you are busy with a grievance. Oh, you just did a grievance.
I think even last week I did 3.
Okay, but this is one grievance.
Yes.
For a company in Durban.
Yes.
And I know the report must still come out in terms of your findings. But I have to go to the bargaining council tomorrow, Durban, dealing with conciliation on this grievance which the company is attending to. Why? Because the union
Comrade walked
in the application form said they want a special investigating committee to be established to investigate this matter.
And it must be paid for by the
Company. What shit is that? Ek voel so my listeners sê wat 'n bloody enie dit is. Now I must go and waste my whole day to tell the guys we're not going to appoint a investigating committee because not in the recognition agreement does it say that, and you as an employer union don't even do it yourself. When there's misconduct in the workplace, what do? You do the investigation for misconduct in terms of your policies and in terms of the Labour Relations Act. Capiche? Now I need to go there to answer to a case you busy dealing with. Mamparas, eh? Yes.
But you know, Mr. Comrades, a luta continua. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Today I'm lashing out at employees. We always lash employers, eh?
No, you know, I'm here for the masses, you know.
The masses.
Yes, the ground breakers. I'm here for the ground breakers, but you know.
Are you lying, man? You're mostly working for employers.
Work. Remember work, but I am for the masses. Yes, I work. When I work, I help employers, but I am for. That's why when I'm doing my own episode, when I'm alone, I talk to employers, give them advice, what to do and what
but you
to
tell
do.
the employees the right things to do.
Yes, the right things to do, you see, because I care about
They should
them.
behave themselves.
I care about them because, you know, unemployment, it's haunting people out there. It's not nice to be unemployed. And especially for, I will say, stupid things, you know.
So you help employees to become employable.
Yes.
And to respect their masters.
100%.
So you're for the employers, you see. Oh, sorry, man.
But now before we start.
Yeah. Well, I'm lashing out at employees.
Yes. Today. Before we start, I went to one of our brother's company's client to give a notice because the employee there is Zimbabwean national, so his work permit has expired.
Oh, yeah.
So now I had to go.
ZP.
Yeah, I had to go and issue him a notice explaining that he's been given a certain period because, you know, it's against the law to employ someone. But now since his stuff is expired, they give him a grace period so that he can go and fix his paperwork and stuff. So I read him nicely, got a witness next to me, translate in isiZulu because he understands isiZulu. Then I'm like, okay, can you sign here so that I can give you a copy, get a copy so that they can be on the file, so that on the 4th of August, when we check, we see how far you are. And then along the way, when you are busy with this process, keep me posted. I'm not going to sign this. How? You know the way I was so polite. He points it to his manager now, the guy who was a witness now, who was overseeing the whole process. You see, Mr. Manager, this whole thing, how am I going to do this? How am I going to afford this? This needs me to now go to Zimbabwe, get a new passport. Now I remember what you just said earlier when we were having a chat. How am I going to do this? I must send money to my family. My kids are starving. I must do this and this. I'm like, sir, why are you addressing that gentleman? Because I'm the one who came with the news here. You must address me. You know that I'm a driver. I drive every day. I don't go to the department and ask them, how am I going to afford to renew my license? What? It is my responsibility to renew my license. So is it your responsibility to make sure that you have valid papers? I'm like, you see, I'm making a typical example because I can't go there and now start blaming the traffic officers and say, how am I going to afford to pay for my license?
Why not?
And not
South Africa, we can do that.
If they say you must drive with glasses, are you going to blame them and say, How am I going to afford to buy new glasses so that I can be able to drive? Are you going to blame them? No, you're going to have to take it out from your pocket. Figure it out. You have 3 months that you were given. But I'm not going to sign this. I'm like, it's okay. Excuse me, sir. There was a guy picking stock there. Excuse me, sir. Can you come? Explain to him the background. I'm like, can you just sign here as a witness that I did issue this gentleman this document? And then, I explained to him in a language that he understands. He was not victimized. So the gentleman signed. I also wrote, employee refused to sign, date signed, the manager signed, and then gave him a copy, and I left.
But yeah, I want to latch onto that. Today's case we're talking about, it's an incapacity case, okay? So, but I really do need to speak to employees today. And the question is, what is your expectation of your employer in context of this employment relationship? What do you think of your employer? What do you think who they are? Are they a charity organization? They must just feed you all the time? Is that what we're talking about? I had a case this week, Incapacity. Now, this woman is a manager, quite senior in the company. The company had a wellness day, and she injured her foot. So it's an injury on duty, no problem. But it was quite a hectic and a severe injury, okay? And it's been 6 months now that this foot is not healing. So, okay, she went to the doctor. The doctor refuses to book her off for 3 months at least. So therefore, she cannot qualify for being at home and get paid 75% of her salary in terms of the Quota Act, because she's not been booked off for 3 months. She replaced the doctor and found another doctor, and he doesn't want to book her off either. So she can't stay at home for this lengthy period of time. But there's a lot of instances whereby she's been booked off during the course of the last 6 months, And the doctors also recommended that she work from home. And the company tried to accommodate her, to let her work from home 3 weeks, but it's not working. She's a manager and she needs to physically be at the head office in order to fulfill and adhere to her KPIs. So it can't work. So in the meantime, she exhausted all her sick leave. She exhausted all her annual leave. Now, actually, last month, the doctor actually did book her off for a whole month because she's not recovering. But she didn't go off. She came to work because, no work, no pay, that policy. She exhausted sick leave and annual leave, and, so there's no more remuneration if she's absent from work. And then every week, there's a lot of days in between that, she's booked off for physiotherapy or whatever the case may be. Now, there's a real problem here. She's not performing. She can't do her job. She's in constant pain because of this foot. And she admits, in her view, she's temporarily disabled. But there's no medical reports that states, any timeline of when she will recover, if she's going to recover. In her mind, it's temporary only. But she is still, it's 6 months later, in so much pain that she can hardly walk. She can't do her job. So they had a preliminary investigation with her, and eventually I had a incapacity inquiry with her this week. I was blown away how this company tried to accommodate her. They offered her, listen, currently she must go for another 7 weeks of therapy. And thereafter there's a possibility of an operation which can result in her taking off another couple of weeks. So give or take, this whole thing, we may be close to a year already, and we're still then thereafter
not finding
we just don't know where we're standing with
any positive result.
Yeah, you see. So, okay, so the company said, okay, you now need to go for therapy for the next 7 weeks, okay? The company proposed, listen, let's say, and it's debatable, let's say for the next 3 months, we give you off, okay? But on an unpaid basis, because no work, no pay. No, won't accept it. Okay, then the company said, okay, take off the 3 months and we will compensate you, but not to your full level at the moment. No, will not accept it. Then the company said, okay, there is a PA to the CEO position available, which means you just need to sit on a chair the whole day. We'll give you that position for 3 months, but on the pay grade of that position. No, won't accept it. The company said, okay, listen. Because now remember, Schedule 8, 10, 11 of the LRA requires that there's a bit more strenuous burden on the employer to try to find alternatives if this was an injury on duty.
Yes.
So the company is really trying here. Then they said, okay, let us look at your contract, all your KPIs, and remove some of your KPIs, temporary, just for 3 months, as an example, but with a lower of salary. No, will not accept it. So I explained to her, listen, the process, the incapacity process, even though it does talk about dismissal, the focus of that process is not really to dismiss an employee. It is to try to reserve and protect the employment of the employee. Let's try to consider alternatives and see how we can resolve this matter. But to resolve this matter, there must be a good faith engagement between both parties. But you know, the foundation of that kind of process really is the understanding, Chaile, that there is the interest of you as an employee and there's the interest of the employer. But the employee are not appreciative of the fact that there's also the interest of the employer. It's only my interest. So what do you expect of your employee? Who do you think they are? A charity organization that must just give? Because she actually literally told me she's not willing to discuss alternatives. Not at all. There's only one alternative. She'll continue working as is on the salary she is. And if she doesn't perform, no problem. As far as she's concerned, the company must not live with it.
So she doesn't think termination of a contract this thing will lead to her now being...
Well, she said she'll be happy with whatever the company decide. So I had to explain to her, the company is trying to protect your job. This is a difficult period for you. Now, I did not tell her, actually, I can't remember if I told her this, but the reality of the matter is when you as an employee, when you have an injury or a disease or you're incapacitated, with all sensitiveness and love in my heart, it's your incapacity, it's not the employer. If your foot is sore, it's your sore foot. If you've got a disease, it's yours. Now in South Africa, there's a social contract between the citizens of South Africa. Like me and you. Besides now the employment relationship, there's a social contract. Besides legal issues, if you do something to me or I do something to you, we can sue each other. Besides that, okay?
Yeah.
Your success and your failure in your life is your problem. It's not me. And my success and my failure in my life is my problem. It's not yours. I'm a juristic person. You're a juristic person. You can't blame me for your failures in life.
In what South Africa are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about this one.
No, but now
this one.
You have a typical example now on your table with this person that...
Yeah, but the employee don't understand that the employer is also a juristic person. There's the scope of the law that allows for sick leave and annual leave and all these things, and an employer must be nice and kind and investigate incapacity in the workplace, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is your disease is your disease. It's not the employer's disease.
I came across a similar thing that...
It's not the employer's problem.
I came across
the law say they must do certain things, but ultimately, if you're sick, it's your illness.
And the person also is refusing. She's in denial. And with her now, it's a problem because now she was diagnosed with epilepsy. And she had 2 episodes at some point, and then she was told to go to the doctor. She must bring medical reports. Delay. The company took effort to take her to their own doctor to do the evaluation. And then when they tick the boxes, you can drive, you can work at sites because it's like our job. We have to travel around and see if everything is okay.
So who's going to do the traveling?
No, she says she will sit in the office. They must create that for her just to sit in the office. Same salary and same everything.
What is wrong with employees, Chaile? Where do we get this from? That the employer must now go beyond the call of duty to accommodate me. It's my problem, and if the employer end up dismissing you, the employer's at fault.
Yes.
Where does this come from?
I don't know. That's why I'm
it's
asking
not employer.
I'm asking you now, which South Africa are you talking about? Because the South Africa that I see, with the guy I was giving a warning yesterday, I was issuing a warning yesterday for a guy. He must report for duty at 8:45 in the morning. I check his register, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, 9 o'clock, 9:30, 9:45. Not even a single time in the past 6 months he reported to duty at 8:45.
But when the employer talk to you, now it's the employer's fault now.
No,
How dare they talk
I asked
to me?
him, like, how did we arrive here? No, you know that I'm a single parent. I'm like, I don't know. Were you upfront with that? If now I'm going to have a problem, I'm going to be upfront with my employer that say, can we make some sort of arrangement because I'm currently in a situation like this? I don't know, I didn't tell anyone. How long you been here, sir? It's now 3 years. I'm like, so you never see the necessity to come forward to your employer and say, my situation at home has changed 1, 2, and 3. I'm not saying you're going to get special preference, because if you're going to get special preference, there's 19 other people who are going to look at the company and be like, what about us? I also have issues at home. You see? Yeah, but you see, you must understand. I'm like, no, it's not for me to understand. It's for you to come to the party.
So, Tsepo, employee, in the incapacity process, the employer is going to try to save your job. But if you're injured, it's your problem. It's your injury. In terms of the law, the employer will investigate and try to accommodate you. But there's no duty on them to create a new position for you. You know, life happens. You know? So next time when your employer is consulting, engaging you in an incapacity process, understand there's your need, your interest. You are a juristic person, but the employer is also a juristic person. They also have their interests. Okay? They will try to accommodate you, try to amend your contract of employment, try to find alternatives. They can't unilaterally enforce or impose these alternatives on you. But they need to consult with you, and hopefully you can agree, and hopefully the two parties can find an amenable situation or solution. But you can't just say that, no, there's only one outcome. Life doesn't work that way. And if they then end up dismissing you, then you must blame yourself. You can't blame your employer.
I hope it will be received well by employees. They will take the advice.
But employees got this in, I don't know where it's coming from. Either it's a lack of understanding, or it is a sense of entitlement that my problem is, my life is always the problem of somebody else. It's always caused by the company. We don't take responsibility for our own lives.
Not at all. Someone can steal from work, be dismissed, but when he gets out, it's like, yeah, the manager hates me.
Yeah,
but you stole.
Yeah, you can steal something. But when you get to CC May, knows the manager, he's racist.
You see, so that's entitlement.
I did a hearing once, and this person said, "Are you racist?" The lady was black and I was white, chairperson. I said, "My dear, you agreed. You took the thing. The color of my skin does not cause you to take that thing and steal it."
So I think it's lack of accountability. Someone failing to take to account for their actions, and then always wanting to blame someone. You know, if my life does not go well, then it's my employer.
You know what? Maybe it's not only about wanting to blame the employer. Maybe it's also a lack of knowledge. Maybe it's also ignorance. Because I've also been an employee, and I remember I've worked for corporate, and I think this is maybe part of the
corporate culture.
Part of the problem is you sit as an employee, you see this big business, and you see, or you can only imagine the billions they're making. Therefore, you may compare your own suffering, your own little income, your own suffering, compare it to the billions the company is making. Then you think, it will be nothing for the employer to accommodate you. So you approach this relationship from that presumption. The company's got this big gold mine and you nothing. So therefore, it's no problem for the company to do it. But with that, there's two issues that you're not mindful of. Number one, the fact that the company has a turnover of billions does not necessarily mean they make billions. They could even be at a loss. I almost said names.
No, I remember when you said
Read Google and you'll find many companies who are turning millions but not making a cent. That's the one issue. The other issue is what you're not mindful of, even though they may be making millions. Remember, they're still a juristic person with their interest. Your problem is your problem, not their problem. My problem is my problem, not your problem.
I'm worried about
if the company's not making money, are they going to say to you, it's your fault, let me come visit you at your house and you need to fix my problem.
I'm worried about your statement. You keep on saying your problem is your problem, my problem is my problem. They're gonna say, yeah, but you don't care about us. That's another thing. You see now. Remember, also people hear what they want to hear. They don't listen to understand sometimes.
Tsepo, if there is a road and there's a young child running over the road and there's a truck coming, am I unloving if I scream at the child, say, get out of the bloody way, or even run to the child and tackle him? It's called love. The reality of the matter is, you employee, you're going to get fired.
That's true.
I'm helping you. You should say thank you, Mr. Nell, for helping you.
That's true.
And let you know the truth. The truth is, when you're sitting in incapacity investigation, you cannot approach this from only my seat of interest. You have to be open to the interest of the other party. It's a consultation. It's a two-way process. Because if you're not, they can maybe end up dismissing you. Yes, you're going to go to the CCMA and probably still lose the case. And you're going to sit there grumpy at home. Life is like this. Life is like that. You should listen to Mr. Nell and to Mr. Tsepo, because this is called caring, kindness, love. This is what this is about. Me giving you information. Now, obviously, there's a lot of laws and things that happens in that context. You know, the employer can't just do what they want either. Yeah.
That is why the approach is really consultation.
I just want to say this. I don't want to carry on too long. But you must remember, in terms of common law, as far as the employment contract is concerned, okay? If you breach a contract, the contract is broken. Yes. So if you, let's say you must start at 8 in the morning, you pitch up 1 minute past 8, you broke the contract. In common law, I can say, there you go. Luckily, because of the kind unions, the comrades, and the employers, over time, negotiated laws. So there is now fairness and policies and procedures and reasonableness. There's time off, there's overtime, there's lunch hours, there's sick leave, maternity leave, all these nice things. But those provisions also has its limitations. Ultimately, still, if you don't come to work, if you're late, if you cannot work, don't make your problem employers.
I'm worried about these ways of problem, my problem,
but
your problem.
But you must understand this, because this helps you in negotiation.
I'm worried about your problem, my problem, his problem, your problem.
No, but employees approach this process with only me. What if you go into that meeting, Tsepo, and say, sir, I understand your need, that you need somebody here to do the job and to do it successfully, performing up to a required level. My issues are the following. Can we find a solution here? That will be a fantastic basis to approach this. And what helps you here is knowledge of what the other person's interests are. So it's not about me not caring. I'm helping you how to approach this negotiation. Because if you're going to walk in, only me, go try this at CCMA. You know, at CCMA, before arbitration, they have conciliation.
Yes.
If you're going to go into conciliation negotiation, only me. You know what the commission is going to do?
Mr. Employer, please step outside.
Mr. Employer, please step out. I'll talk to you. You cannot just me. There's also them. So you need to be wise how you approach life. And you know what? This principle is true in all relationships. With your child, with your husband, your wife, your partner, whatever you want to call it. You cannot approach any relationship with only me. Me, I, and us. No. You need to negotiate, but to negotiate successfully, you need to understand that person is also a juristic person. They also have interests. You must be mindful of that. You are losing your audience if it's just about me.
Please.
Anyway.
Don't forget, the moral of the story is that your problem is your problem. The company's problem is their own problem. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to interact with us. Give us your view so that we can respond and then interact with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Enjoy.